Donald Trump is destroying the White House. He's ruining it. He's just tearing it all down. Or at least that's what the internet is saying. Obviously, that's not true. That's how these things go. But this particular photo of his new renovations went viral. I mean, on one photo alone, if I knew nothing else about the situation, I would think, oh no, Dictator Trump is tearing down the White House. Now, again, that's not true at all. But if you are not media literate, if you do not know what's going on with his renovations, perhaps you would think that. Now, this is part of the East Wing that he is currently demolishing to build a grand ballroom. Also, I think it's important to note this part of the East Wing is very rarely used in the first place. So he is trying to bring it back to life with a ballroom, which frankly, I think is very cool. It's very, I don't know if it's stupid for me to say, it's very like Jane Austen, like we're gonna have balls again. That'd be cool. Anything to make the house more grand and cool and then used, especially by some of the common folk that would get to go maybe to a ball, that's cool. And naturally, those who just want to destroy Trump at every possible turn, they took this as an opportunity to just absolutely come at Trump, attempt to annihilate him, attempt to just own him in tweets. I'll show you them, but they are frankly more comical than they are any kind of owning. First, though, here is Whoopi Goldberg discussing this.
You know who is still bulldozing ahead with building a White House ballroom that no one voted for, no one asked for.
I'm already annoyed. No, I'm already like, well, how the heck is she? It doesn't matter. We don't have to vote for every single thing that's done to renovate the White House. Never in the history of the world has that been the case for this house. Literally ever. Okay.
And once again, it's promises made and promises broken.
How is The View still running? How many people are watching The View? And how many people are getting so fake of news, so skewered? I mean, I don't, when I think about like the No Kings protests and why all these middle-aged women are just, I see why. If they are just watching this, oh my gosh, they would just think all of these things are true.
Take a look.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite. Right behind us, we're building a ballroom. They've wanted a ballroom for 150 years.
Honestly, though, if you think about it, the fact that the White House doesn't already have a ballroom is kind of shocking in itself. Like, what have they been doing for the last 150 years? Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a crazy add-on for me at all.
And I'm giving that honor to this wonderful place. Right on the other side, you have a lot of construction going on, which you might hear periodically. You're going to see a ballroom the likes of which
the world has ever seen.
I don't think it'll be topped.
Oh, dang, he always says. I really thought that was coming next. Better than than anyone has ever seen. Bigger than it's ever been.
Okay.
But somehow the humor I was just having fun with is not where Whoopi's taking this. Clearly, she's angry.
That is not your building.
Correct.
You don't own that building.
Yes, Queen. Oh my gosh.
Me going over to Trump Tower and saying I'm going to build a disco. You know, they've wanted a disco in Trump Tower for hundreds of years. Yeah. And so, I mean, come on, man. You don't own that building. That is the people's building. You don't own it.
It's so infuriating. Especially because where I'm going to go with this episode. So I'm just remember that moment. Let me play a couple other crazy lib takes, and then I'll describe why, in fact, that is so infuriating. The comments were like, who told this clown to tear down our house? Again, he's not tearing it down, ladies. You could have mentioned that, but no. You don't own this house. Oh, I just know that she said that because she knew she'd get a clap. I'm like, Another woman said, spending all working Americans' money on that bullshit. He's not. We'll get there. He's not. Again, an important thing to note that, of course, the ladies on The View did not acknowledge at all. Now, Hillary Clinton, who, frankly, she should be on The View. I feel like she would be a great new host. Very fitting, the energy, the vibes, the look, the aesthetic. It would be great. And I wonder what does she do right now? Like on her day-to-day?
Drinking vodka.
Does she do tours? Does she write more books?
Pokemon Go.
She tweets, at least, and this is what she tweeted under that viral photo of the house. It's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. Again, it's like, Oh, I don't think people are going to love it. But I just had to note that Hillary Clinton does have her comments off, and only certain people who interact with her actually are allowed to comment. You couldn't read all of the trolling that then came from that particular tweet. But I must say that my favorite critique from this whole image of the renovation was from Governor Gavin Newsom. It was so good, and especially Trump's war room response to it was even better. Okay, so this is what Gavin said. Ripping apart the White House just like he's ripping apart the Constitution. Okay, so that's his take, right? Again, okay. And while that's just annoying for a myriad of reasons, Trump's war room then posted this in response to Gavin talking about, again, just that photo of the renovation. They responded and said, your Capitol renovation is costing California taxpayers $1.1 billion, 4 times more than the privately funded White House ballroom, which cost taxpayers nothing. Okay. So little hypocrite Gavin, this is what's happening currently in California.
Why will a new office building for California lawmakers cost as much as an NFL stadium? That's a question we've been asking California's legislative leaders overseeing the Capitol Annex project. The $1.1 billion project is supposed to cover costs for the office building, parking garage, and a new visitor center.
But it will also include private hallways for lawmakers that allow them to avoid the public and avoid us, the media.
I didn't even realize that for the first time. They're creating private hallways so that Gavin and all of his little cronies can avoid the people, avoid the peasants, so they don't have to talk to the peasants or to the media. Oh, imagine if Trump was doing that. Again, this is taxpayer money.
This new office building in Sacramento is going to be one of the most expensive buildings in the United States. And yes, California taxpayers are footing the bill.
It's so good. It's so symbolic. It's so poetic. It's all of the things.
The California legislature, which is in charge of it, continues to keep details in the dark.
And that Trump is giving every detail of the renovation he's talking about all the time. We'll be showing that on the show. Like, look at him keep talking. He's talking about it because he's open. And then this is like, yeah, they're being super secretive. It's totally in the dark, but it's $1.1 billion and it's from the taxpayers. Republicans versus Democrats. So good.
The $1.1 billion construction and counting will eventually house the offices of lawmakers, the governor, and lieutenant governor. It'll cost about as much as Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara and more than the Golden One Center in Sacramento.
And this is a people's house. This is just for lawmakers. So it's not even going to be used by the public like these giant arenas are. And yet they're spending more money on that. And while the public won't be using it, potentially at all, they're still footing the bill. Important things to add, important things to think about, and super ironic. It just feels deceptive. It feels like they're hiding things, or at least they're not being transparent, obviously, which is not good. However, something that is not hidden is the ingredients inside of my Balance of Nature supplements. There are over 31 different fruit and vegetables in the Balance of Nature fruit and veggie supplements. And there truly has never been a more convenient dietary supplement to ensure that you get that wide variety of fruits and veggies in every single day. Balance of Nature takes fruits and vegetables, they freeze dry them, turn them into a little powder, and then put them into a capsule. There are no fillers, there are no flow agents, there are no binders, there are no weird stuff in there. It's literally just fruits and vegetables. And it is lab tested for quality. Plus, with the capsules, you can mix them into water or pour them on your food or just take them, whatever is easy for your lifestyle. And what's great about Balance of Nature is your body already knows exactly what to do with these ingredients. What I personally love most is just how convenient they are because I'm always on the go, I have a crazy schedule, and I'm not good with taking all my nutrients, but because I just have all my supplements right there, I can just pop them in and go, and it's super easy. And so if you guys want to try Balance of Nature for yourself, you can go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement plus 35% off your first order as a preferred customer using discount code Conrad. Again, that's balanceofnature.com, promo code Conrad. Okay, let's go back to whatever Gavin Newsom is hiding.
But we still don't know why or how the money is being spent.
Motion passes.
The legislature's Joint Rules Committee overseeing the project still won't give a public update, even though lawsuits against it have been over for 6 months. But officials confirmed there are now no plans to construct the visitor center on the west side of the historic Capitol.
This just keeps getting better because now they're dodging the peasants, they're dodging the media. Oh, and the visitor center, the one part that we peasants could use, actually, they're not really working on that.
But even without that part, they said the budget for the project overall won't change. The cost estimate has more than doubled since 2018, and the NDAs are still in place.
Did they just say the cost doubled since what it was pitched as in 2018?
It's been gone about in a way that is lacked transparency at every step of the way.
Shocking. Gavin Newsom lacking transparency in a bill that's costing taxpayers $1 billion. My favorite part about that is just that Gavin has the audacity to to make statements like that, knowing full well that not only was that whole project facing lawsuits, but now the whole project is mixed up in turmoil and just people are mad about it. And then he's tweeting about Trump, while he has his own problem with actually taxpayer-funded projects. A project, again, that is just for lawmakers, not the benefit of the people. And that is very telling. Now, unlike Gavin Newsom, Trump is not spending Americans' money because it is all privately funded by him and private donors. And I believe it is a $250 million project, but again, we're not paying for any of it. One of the tweets under Newsom's tweet there said, "Do go on," and then it's just this list of all of the different presidents who made additions, who made renovations to the house. And I want to dive into those for a moment, kind of in more detail, because I thought that these were very fascinating. Teddy Roosevelt built the West Wing, so a whole addition to the White House. Taft made the Executive Office Oval. FDR added the entire East Wing and included an indoor pool for himself. Imagine if that was today. Oh, Trump is adding a whole new wing. He's making a pool for himself. How selfish. Everyone uses the pool now. Everyone uses all these wings, so it's like these cool additions that happen over time that then the other presidents get to benefit from. Truman gutted the entire White House. Now that, frankly, that's probably the most controversial one because he stripped a lot of the original stuff away to just fully renovate it, but there was no Whoopi Goldberg in the View at that time, just dissing him for doing so. Nixon added a bowling alley, which again, they're still using today. That's a cool feature of the White House. That was added by a former president. That's okay. Obama added a basketball court. And then Trump is building this ballroom. So there's historical precedent for this. Multiple times. So anyone complaining, especially given the fact that this is not being paid for by taxpayers, they're being hypocrites. As per usual. I did want to dive into a little bit more, though, of all of this. So Trump's doing construction on 5 different locations within the White House. New York Times covered this a little bit, where they're exactly doing different things. In less than a year, President Trump has already significantly remade the White House. The Oval Office is decorated from top to bottom in gold, which, frankly, it probably should be. I mean, it is like the White House. That kind of makes sense. The Rose Gardens lawn is paved over, and on Monday, part of the East Wing was demolished as Mr. Trump's 90,000 square foot ballroom project forged ahead. And none of this surprises me because, again, this is Donald Trump. The man who became famous, who became who he is, from creating massive, beautiful properties. So frankly, if there's any president to actually do any renovations and create good things for the future of that house, it would be Trump. It makes sense. And frankly, everyone else should actually be commending this because it's a good thing. The Oval Office, a little bit in the East Wing, the Rose Garden, the Cabinet Room, and the West Colonnade. I love renovations. I find this super interesting and entertaining. This is what I do in my free time. Renovate. Not a White House, and certainly not covered in gold, but nonetheless. Okay, so here is the 1902 when President Theodore Roosevelt built the West Wing. These photos are actually, it's so cool to see. Okay, so it's wild that it didn't always have some of those wings. Replacing expansive greenhouses constructed during the Jefferson administration and establishing the modern-day Executive Office Wing with a classically leaning design. Honestly, it's kind of sad because I would love to see what the greenhouses looked like during the Jefferson administration. That's so cool. Here's JFK's in 62. He constructed the modern Rose Garden. It's just beautiful. They're just adding beauty to it. Great. In 1970, President Nixon converted the swimming pool into the press briefing room. Why? I would love to know why that happened, but apparently that happened. Is that the room that used to be a pool?
Yeah.
Were they saving? Was that a budget cut situation? In 1973, he added a bowling alley in the basement. Okay. It's cool that the bowling alley still exists, but here's pictures. Oh no, they're destroying the basement to make a bowling alley.
How dare he?
I'd love to know if these were all taxpayer funded or not. Also, something important to note with Trump, preservation experts are not saying that they're concerned with what he's taking down, that it is ruining anything, that it is taking away any kind of preservation. They're not concerned about that. In fact, it was only built in the last less than 100 years, that part of the White House was even built at all. So it's not like the original White House that they are destroying at all with this project. 1975, President Gerald Ford installed an outdoor swimming pool. Oh no. Clinton cleaned up the mansion. As I said, if there was any president who could and should privately fund some improvements to a beautiful mansion like the White House, it would be Trump. And so I just love this faux outrage about something that truly doesn't matter to these people at all. They will not affect them at all. In fact, I was just going to make some comparison, to how he could even clean up, undeniably dirty cities and they would still find something to be mad about. But then I remembered that's happening right now too. They will always be mad about something. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Comment Section. For more content like this, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe to this channel. And for other content, you can follow me on X and my personal Instagram, as well as our comment section Instagram. I'll see you guys in the comments.